Hey all, Dakota Graff here from Onyx Coffee Lab. I'm here to reveal one of the coffees from Leaderboard Season 2, and that coffee is our Colombia Aponte Village. This is a honey processed coffee grown in Nariño, Colombia. This is a coffee that we've been sourcing for a number of years. It is super sweet. We can source quite a bit of it. It's one of our staples, especially for year-round. It's half of our geometry blends, and of course it's just a single origin staple. So this coffee is really unique because of its processing. It's honey processed in sort of a roundabout way. It's kind of dried as a natural, not fully dried. It's just partially dried as a natural, then depulped, and then it goes to raised drying beds. In Nariño, it's sort of a struggle to dry honey processed coffees, but in the Aponte village, they do it really, really well. This is an indigenous people group in Aponte, and it's really, really part of their culture, the way they process the coffee. And so we just love it. I think it's a fantastic coffee, and it really came to mind for Leaderboard because it's a fun coffee to cup. It's pretty traditional in a lot of senses, as Nariño is sort of creamy, round, heavy-bodied. But that honey process sort of adds a dynamic layer to this coffee that I think wouldn't be there otherwise. I've cupped a lot of their washed offers, and I always prefer the honeys. So this coffee is also really fun for me to source personally because I get to cup a lot of different coffees from single producers. I work with my friend Pedro from Pergamino Coffee based in Medellin, and he sends me single origin or single producer offers that I use to build into a full container of coffee. And every year it turns out fantastic, and we're just really excited that Leaderboard wanted to feature it in one of the seasons. So like I said, it's really fun to cup, but it is sort of challenging. So I think the way I would go about picking this coffee out on a table, I would start, as always, from just a physical look standpoint. So I would look at the roasted seeds and see what stands out to me. For this coffee, I can immediately tell that it's processed just based on the way it looks. Some of the wash coffees might be a little bit more polished, a little bit more shiny. That mid-rib is going to be really pronounced. And on the Aponte Village and other honey and natural processed coffees, it's more of a even shade all around. That mid-rib's not as pronounced. And there's sort of a dullness to the coffee. And I think that's just because of the sugars on the outside. The second way I would identify this is taste. I would cup it, brew it, think about what I'm tasting. So like I said, this is a Nariño coffee, pretty round, pretty creamy. Those are it's a given. One of my flavor notes on this coffee is chocolate malt, and it's right on. But another one of my flavor notes is papaya, and that papaya note really, I think, is lended from the fermentation of this coffee as a honey processed coffee, and even in that pre-fermentation as that partially dried natural. So that really kind of lends itself to being a precursor to being okay, well, this is a processed coffee. This might be a traditional variety. It's a Caturra, it's a Bourbon. There's probably a little Colombia in there and a little bit of Castillo as well. It's always sort of mixed in. And so that would give me sort of an idea of how to identify this coffee on the table. So hope you liked it. I love this coffee. Every year it's a fan favorite. It's an Onyx favorite. If you have any more, brew it up, cup it up. Don't let it go to waste. And thanks for participating in Leaderboard Season 2. See y'all.